So I often handle divorces with people in their 60s, 70s, and I actually have had divorces with two couples in their 90s. And so these divorces, in certain respects, should be more straightforward because they're not fighting over the children and there are no custody issues, no child support issues. But oftentimes they become more complicated than I think they have to or have to be. And why is that? My name's Ken Novenstern, Fredman Baken and Novenstern, LLP, and um, it should be easier, but it's not. So why? What I find is that in these gray divorces, number one, people often get caught up in the history of the marriage, and there's some need to prove which person was right and which person was wrong. And again, that's common in all divorces, but I think I see it more severely or more consistently in gray divorces. And it's understandable. I mean, if people have been married for 30, 40 or more years, they're really pretty entrenched in their ways. So I get it, but it's really something that you should be aware of and that you should fight against that tendency. Another aspect of gray divorce that I see, which unnecessarily drags out the process and makes it more expensive, is cost. There seems to be a greater awareness in the gray divorce situation and a fear if each of them gets their own attorney that the costs are going to get out of hand. And often the reality is the opposite. If they would just accept the fact that they need the help of an attorney, if they would each get qualified attorneys, they're going to move the process forward more quickly and they're going to get a result that's fair, reasonable, rational, and timely, because that's a big thing. I see it just dragging on and on with these gray divorces where people try and do it themselves, or they get one attorney involved, but the other person doesn't have their own attorney, but they're suspicious of what's going on. And so the third part of it is really maybe it's a combination of the above two. It's getting caught up in minor issues. And these minor issues end up taking over the case. So I would strongly recommend that if you are in your 60s or 70s or older and you're going through a divorce or you're considering a divorce, that you take appropriate steps, that you're clear in terms of what you're trying to achieve, and that you consult with a professional who works in the area consistently, not someone who does personal injury and estates and other things in addition to 10% of their practice being divorce. So take it more seriously, do what you need to do, and be efficient. My name's Ken Novenstern, and please feel free to call me. My office is 914-997-9070. I look forward to answering your questions.